Alright, today we're doing complex numbers, adding, subtracting, and multiplying. Alright, if you have a calculator, it's going to be really, really, really easy. You just put it in the calculator. It says consider the number 5 plus 2i. Because 5 is a real number and 2i is an imaginary number, they are not like terms and cannot be combined. This type of expression is called a complex number. Alright, and here are the calculator steps. Type in the problem exactly how you see it, use parentheses where they're at, and then click on the pi button. This is on the TI Nspire. Click on the pi button to find the I. So we see when we are adding or subtracting, we're just combining like terms. We did this back in August and September. It should be really easy. So I'm going to do the first one without a calculator even. So we have in parentheses negative 11 plus 3i and then plus 9 plus 2i. All right, so we see these two are like terms, so we combine them. Negative 11 plus 9 is negative 2. Please don't forget your number line. Negative 11 plus 9, that means you're going up 9. Negative 11 plus 9 is negative 2. And then 3i and 2i are like terms, so you combine those and you get 5i. And that's it. We're done. Now, if you do it in the calculator, you type it in exactly how you see it. So in parentheses, negative 11 plus 3, and then I is down below. You got to find the pi button. Click on pi, and then click over to I. Negative 11 plus 3i plus, and then in parentheses again, do not forget the parentheses, 9 plus 2i. Hit enter, and you get the same thing, negative 2 plus 5i. All right, so that's our answer to the first one. Number 2, you can do it by hand or you can do it in the calculator. 7 minus 2i minus 2 plus 6i. Now, if you remember way back in September, I said, adding on number 1, as we saw, adding is really easy. We're just combining like terms. So how can we make number 2 into addition? So we can combine like terms. Send this negative to both of these in the second equation. So we get 7 minus 2i minus 2, minus 2 minus 6i. All right, and then from there, we are just combining like terms. 7 minus 2 is a positive 5, and then negative 2i minus 6i is minus 8i. And that's it. Again, let's see if we get that when we put it in the calculator. So again, type it exactly how it looks. 7 minus 2i. All right, and then plus, because we switched the negative, or we can still just type it in exactly as it is, minus, and then in parentheses, 2 plus 6i. We hit enter, we get the same thing, 5 minus 8i. You could have just typed the first equation as is, or when we sent this negative over, you could have also typed that in. You would have got the same answer. Okay? Adding and subtracting is really easy. It's just combining like terms. You can use the calculator way, or you can just do simple math that I know you know how to do. All right, so we scroll down. Now we get into some a little bit trickier, multiplying complex numbers. All right, here I would suggest putting it in the calculator if you have, but I'll show you by hand as well. So we're in the calculator, type it exactly as is, 2i, and then in parentheses, 8 minus 3i, hit enter, we get 6 plus 16i. All right, now I'll show you what happens if we do it by hand. So 2i plus 8 is 16i. Now, 2i times negative 3i really means 2i times negative 3, negative I. All right, when we do, if you just do it in the calculator, 2i times negative 3i, just do 2i times negative 3i. Hit enter, you get 6. Okay, a lot of y'all, you might have saw, oh, 2i times negative 3i is 6i squared. But I squared is is really equal to 1. So if we get 6, if we got 6i squared, I squared is 1. 6 times 1 is 6. So that's where we get plus 6. So that's how we do it by hand. 2i times 8 is 16i, and then 2i times negative 3i is 6. So we get 6 plus 16i. We need to know that I squared is negative 1, and then negative I squared is 1. So really, I actually made a mistake here because of this negative. It was actually negative I squared. So negative I squared is 1. And just to check, type it in the calculator. Negative I squared is 1. I squared is negative 1. So if you ever multiply I times I, you know that's negative 1. If you do negative I times negative I, you know that's also 1. Okay? Finish the worksheet by yourself. All right, upload it when you're done. Let me know if you have any questions. Rewatch the video. Again, adding and subtracting is really easy. You're just combining like terms. When you're multiplying, if you have the calculator, use it for all of it. Type it in exactly how you see it. Use parentheses. All right, if you don't have the calculator, you can do it by hand. It's not that bad. All right.